Yo, 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 everybody. Doing it live. Live stream Sunday, December 8th and counting 2024. We got 2025 coming up quick. Yes, 2025 is coming up quick. Thank you. Where were they? Oh, I knocked them on the floor. These things so I can see what's going on. I've got my non-alcoholic Shuf. I don't know how to say it, man. You guys know how to say it. Been running around today. Back in Atlanta. Locomoco, what's up, man? Man, isn't Locomoco? That's Hawaiian food, man. Hey, Mikey, glad you had a great vacation. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. It was nice. It was nice, man, to get just unhooked. Hey, Harsha, how are you, buddy? To see you. Bought any watches lately? Yeah. What? Tell me what it was. I've been hinging. I'm holding off because I found something else I wanted today. No, Harsha hasn't. He's been holding off too. There you go. Pete from across the street is here from down under. Thanks, Tom Clark. What's up, Tommy? Tommy's waiting on some speakers coming in shortly. Bronco drinking cognac, man. Don't shame me. It's all good, man. Oh, Bronco, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Bronco's our tribe member from Serbia, Belgrade. Bronco picked us up in Belgrade and took us around and showed us the place, man. He was the best tour guide ever because he's lived there his whole life. So it was awesome. Very good. Thanks again, Bronco. Thanks for your time the other night. You bet, Tommy. Oh yeah, I gotta start doing this so you guys can see. Drinking cognac. Danny in from Evanston. Good evening, tribe. Danny, you got a MPSX coming soon, don't you? Yes, you do. Thoughts on audio flight? Audio analog is better. That's my thoughts on audio flight. They're different Italian brands, all kind of about in the same price range, all made about the same level. They just sound a little different. I think audio analog is the most musical out of audio flight, audio analog, and audio arrow. Is that the other one? What's the third one? The third one is can't remember. There's three Italian brands, all kind of similar. Yeah. My thoughts on audio flight are, Harsha, as I'm the guy that you buy from and I don't carry it. That's what the story is on audio flight. So stop looking at other women and fucking pay attention to your wife, me, and buy the shit that I have. That's my advice. Because I have chosen it for a reason. And it's because because it's better than the other stuff. So I can sell you audio flight if you want to. It's in my group of products. But I don't, it's not my Italian brand, but I could sell it to you. There's a lot of brands that, I don't know if you guys know this. There's a lot of brands I can sell you guys because I'm part of that distributors group. Like, you go to some websites, online websites, and you see 50 brands. Well, not 50. Let's say you see 20 brands. All I got to do is get signed up with one distributor, and I can immediately have 20 brands for my website. So it's real hard for you guys to know how established the dealers are just from an online presence, because they can fake it fully. They can get one distributor, one guy to say, yeah, you can sell my stuff, and I can have 20 brands, and overnight I can have a website with 20 brands on it. And you think I worked hard and long to get 20 different brands from 20 different people, when really they're all under one distributor's umbrella, and I can carry every freaking one of them. And since I carry the Opera loudspeakers, that distributor, I've got like 8 other brands that I don't choose to put on my website that I could get for you guys. But there's a reason why they're not on my website. So yeah, Bronco says thanks, or you're welcome. I invited one of my female audiophile friends to join in tonight. That's cool, man. Awesome. Welcome. Thoughts on Bel Canto? Um, it is a decent brand. Nothing wrong with it. John Stronzer is a good guy. Um, he makes decent product. Um, I had one client had a problem with one of their Class D amps. I don't know what model it was, but I think they're monoblocks, and they're smaller type monoblocks. They're the new ones, like the current model, and one of them got toasted, whatever, and it took a really long time and cost him $800 to get it repaired, and he was really pissed. It had just come out of warranty, and and he bought it through a Chicago-based or an Illinois-based discounter, and that guy was really shitty about getting warranty work for him. He was very hard. There's some of these dealers out there, they just want to sell you shit, but when it comes to warranty or returns or anything like that, they're a pain in the ass. And this guy was hard to deal with. I mean, he took care of everything in the end, but it just took a very long time. That is my most recent feedback from Bel Canto. Don't be cheating. Exactly, man. Like, what are you guys cheating on me for, man? What's retail on Fisher and Fisher SN70 stands? $900. Let's talk music. Has anyone heard any great new music? Yeah, I did, as a matter of fact, and I took a picture of it today. So let's see. Let me look in my pictures so I can tell you what it was. It was blues music, and it was from a guy called Alastair, Alastair Green, Alastair Green, Greene, and the tune was called Standing Out Lou. It's pretty kick-ass. This guy is sick on guitar. I mean, I could tell immediately. I heard this little lick, like, wow, that's different. And then he did a solo, and I'm like, this dude shreds. He absolutely shreds. So that was cool. Anybody else has some cool music, go for it. Any thoughts on using MOSFET rectifiers? None whatsoever. I just listen to the gear. Or discrete voltage regulators. Again, I listen to the gear. Does it sound good? No. Does it sound good? Yes. All this other shit, I mean, I'm not a circuit designer, so I don't need to know about discrete voltage regulators. I don't need to know about any shit on the circuit board. Don't even talk to me about even when I go to these companies and I read their marketing and it tells me about the shit on the circuit board, I'm like, why are you telling me about the shit on the circuit board? Like, I don't give a shit what's on the circuit board. I don't care if it's discrete regulators, chip regulators. I don't care. What does your shit sound like? And then I'll tell you if I like it or not. Explaining to me what's on the board doesn't mean shit to me. Couldn't care less. There was a time when I did, and I thought it would make me smarter if I knew what was in everything and why, and why, and what do you have in there, and how are you doing it, and what brand do you use? So then I could go to other places and say, I won't use it unless it's Burr Brown chip. Well, I won't use it unless it's this kind of thing. And that kind of thinking screwed me up more than anything. I think I've gone over it several times with you guys on this channel, is that when you try and get your head under the skirt or under the hood, so to speak, you first of all, you have no business being there unless you're an audio electronics engineer. And then second of all, it's just going to confuse you more because you don't know what it means. You don't know why. Let me ask you then. Okay, so I'll play along. Why discrete regulators, Pete, and where in the circuit? Let's start there, and I'll show you. I'll show you why we don't talk about this. Do I like TAD speakers? Yes, I do. I think I remember you do. You are correct. CE1, for example. Yeah, CE1 TX. Okay, the TX model is the latest. CE1 TX is a phenomenal one. Annie Bisson, great female vocalist from Canada, but that's not new music. We've known about her for a long time. I know her personally. Maybe I'll have her on the show sometime. That would be really easy. But yeah, it's not new music. But maybe it is for some people. If one buys a Class D amp, think about it as a disposable piece. Yeah, that's kind of true. If it's at a certain price, but at a certain price point, I would say, anything over a couple grand, like over 2,500, It should not be disposable. It should last you a lifetime, regardless if it's Class D. Jeff Rowland's stuff lasts a lifetime. And if his stuff breaks, something happens, you send it back to him. He turns it around 24 to 48 hours. There's no playing around. You get that shit back right away. And if it's a repair is needed or something and you're out of warranty, it's going to be $150, $200. There's no $800 from Jeff Rowland. He doesn't play that game, but almost everybody else does. It's not just Belcanto. It's I've heard horror stories. Companies like VTL, they won't even sell you parts. If you have something break and you have a technician that knows what he's doing, they won't sell you parts. You must send it back to VTL to get it fixed. It can't go to a local repair guy. How did you hear it? How did I hear what? John of Belcanto is an awesome dude. He spent more time. He should have discussing his balanced phono stage back in the early days of Belcanto when they sold direct. Yeah, back in the days, you know, it sort of seems to have faded into the background. They did some new line. I think they lost Matt, and Matt split ways with them, who he was there for a long time. But it's kind of seems to be a little bit kind of, you know, shriveling on the vine, it seems. I don't know. I don't see him at the shows anymore. To what extent do aesthetic elements influence the high fidelity audio experience? 0, compared to the objective sonic performance of the system. Let me read that again to understand the distinction. Aesthetic elements influence the high fidelity audio experience compared to the objective sonic performance of the system. Well, if you're somebody that gets turned on by plastic boobs, then maybe it's very important to your audio experience. Maybe you love seeing fake boobs that are big and round, and you know, and you like the whole visual part of an experience. Okay, I'm just using boobs as an example because I like boobs. But so it all depends. You know, you may be a person that has to. You know, a Rolex is another prime example. It's definitely not the best watch, but it is absolutely a visual beacon from across the room, and it gets attention from its looks, not from how excellent of a timepiece it is. Sure, it's a good timepiece, but there's better out there for sure, for less. And absolutely for the same money, you can get better, more bespoke quality handcrafted watches that come out in much less numbers than Rolex. But Rolex beacons a signal. So to the guy that loves Rolex and he wears his Rolex and always has it showing, and he walks with his arm turned forward so that people see it when they're walking down the street, you know, then for him, the experience, it's a paramount. The aesthetic element is paramount. And this is a great example because I went to a dealer down in when I was on my trip down to Florida and in Miami, and I went into this. I would call it a new hip, kind of a hipster. I don't know how to classify it. I would say hipster audio. You know, it's just cool. It's too cool for school. You know what I mean? I mean, he's got cool gear. It looks like a Japanese listening room with all the records on the wall and whiskey on the wall and all that kind of shit. And it's very much about the aesthetic look of that hi-fi. In fact, to the point where I think the buyers almost don't care so much about how good it sounds. They really want a look, and that's fine. You know, people market to them. OMA Audio, Devin Turnbull. These guys make things that are about the look. At least 50-50 with the sound, and maybe even more than the sound. I would venture to say they're more concerned with the look than they are with the overall excellence of the sonic. And just so happened, he did have some OHA speakers in there, and they look cool. And it's a collaboration with Klipsch, so it has the Klipsch name attached to it. And so for people that don't know much about hi-fi, it's something that would be cool. And the younger hipster kind of crowd, it looks cool. It's got the name Klipsch, which they don't know any better, is petered out. And they may want to buy it because it looks cool. It's got this sectional horn that arches and they have different cells in it. And it's just kind of a interesting looking piece, you know, goes great with vinyl record player and with a stack of records and with some bottles of whiskey or cognac or whatever. It's the whole visual experience, the thing, hipster, cool shit, you know, you're going to serve single malt whiskey and maybe some Cuban cigars, and then you're going to have, a dinner with locally sourced whatever. You know what I mean? Tupelo honey drizzled pork ribs or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? I mean, it all kind of goes with a whole certain set. And so for some people, it can be very important, that aesthetic. For other people, it doesn't matter. It's just about the sound. I think I may say that when after you've been doing this a long time, I don't even think I could make that generalization. But I find for myself, as I'm redoing the room that I have, I'm going to be much more conscious about look. Because I just think, why not? Why not make it look badass, wicked, high level design than to just have the room be a myriad of shit everywhere like my room was before. I had just a ton of stuff on shelves everywhere and just things everywhere. And it was just kind of a mess, right? It's not a real actual living space. It's just a listening space. So in my new rig, aesthetic will be completely considered. Where up until now, it hasn't been considered at all. I didn't really care. In the early days, I cared, and then I started not caring, and then now I'm back to caring. So it just depends on the person, the listener, how important our looks. I guess maybe the older I get, the more looks are important to me, or something. The more financial means I have, the more looks are important to me. I don't know, but looks are becoming more important to me. But I won't sacrifice good sound. So if something that sounds the best is a little ugly, then I'm gonna have it anyways, because I will choose sound over look every single time. But if I can have both, that's what I'd really like. I got burned with Spectron or Spectral 15 years ago. Decent performance at the time. Both pieces became doorstops, unserviceable, and obsolete. That's sad. Somebody else was talking to me about, what was that other damn Class D company's name? Shit. They use Pascal modules, D-Sonic. Okay. The things, if they break, some of them, those, if they're in the D-Sonic amp that I opened up, it was a complete board that was made by Pascal. It had a power supply. It had everything. All you had to do was put it in a chassis and wire the outputs, wire the inputs, wire a power switch. That was it. That's a wire up the AC power. It was a complete board. So D-Sonic at that time, anyways, in the piece that I looked at, did nothing but make a chassis and outputs and inputs. They did the simplest possible thing. Take a completed board, and this is like an example of a completed board, but it would be like, this needs more stuff, but it would be a much bigger board, right? That has power supply and everything on it. And you just take this, drop it in a chassis, and then run from all these little connectors, like here, you just run wires to the output. And to the front power switch. It's really easy to do. Any jackass can do it. There's nothing special about a brand like that. But when they break, then you need to have that same exact board. Typically, those boards are made in such quantity, they don't repair them at a component level. A good repair guy can take this board, and then he can find which part is broken on there or burnt out. Usually you can see a brown burn by it where it's got too hot or whatever, and they can take these off and replace them and fix them at a component level. But more often than not, for companies that are dropping full boards into chassis, that's all they're doing. They just replace the board. But if it's an old board, the company doesn't make that board anymore, then you got to tell the customer, you're shit out of luck. And that's no good when that happens. So you have to be kind of aware about that. Ryan says, with speakers, what's in it is absolutely correlatable to final sound. And hey, Mikey. Yeah, I don't know if we were talking about materials, but yeah, that is true. Lamb M 2.1 18 watt SE Class A with horns. Cool. Pigeonholed into a certain type of listening. Who makes the best all-around speaker for under $6,000 a pair? I would say for under $6,000, I would say Fisher & Fisher SN70, the ones that I had at the last show, for $4,500. I don't know if you guys know this, but it earned a Blue Moon Award. We got first place for speakers. My room did. With our room, our tribe room did. With those SN70s, those speakers won the best speakers of the show. They just got another award in the UK. So Fisher and Fisher, you guys, it's like I've cracked the smelling salts under the nose of the industry, and it's only going to get more and more and stronger. So I would say Fisher and Fisher SN70. The new blues song. Yeah, did you get it? I told you what it was. Alistair Green, Step Out Lou. Artificial world, so expect artificial sound. Right, but I'm not an artificial person, so I can do natural, organic sound. I am the exception to the rule. I am the best guy to sell you audio, period. There is no better out there. Not saying you have to buy from me, but I'm just telling you how I feel. Hello, Mike. Hello, chat. Hello, Scotty. What is up? Beam me up, brother. Drago, how's PJ? He's all right, man. He's going through a little, mental anguish with, losing the tip of a finger on the hand that you use on the guitar. He lost this one, and that's what he uses to reach certain chords. So he's going to have to relearn how to play guitar because he's not going to have, this much of a finger on that end. It's not going to reach to the frets that it used to be able to reach to. So he's kind of having like this, like as anybody would probably go through when you lose a part of your body or you become disabled in some way, even though it's a very minor way of being disabled. It pulls pulls a mental thing. I wonder if Wes is here. Wes Woolworth, are you here, brother? I should actually let you talk to my brother, Wes. I should tell my brother to call you, and maybe you can talk with him so you can help him work through the mental shit, maybe a little bit, just from your experience. I won't say what that is. If you feel like sharing it with the group, you can, but I won't defy any confidentiality until you tell me. The sky seems funky. What's that? A band? Greetings from Winnipeg, Canada. Wow, it must be cold up there, Rob. It's been cold down in Atlanta. I'm loving his Bullbags. Dustin is gifting one to my ex-wife, significant other. He's retired Marine, Lieutenant Colonel, Iron Eagle. Cool, man. Awesome. Yeah, so what Dan's talking about is my brother sells something called Bullbag, Bulbag. What it is it is a tactical bag like this. You call it a tactical. I'm going to take this off a second. You could call it a tactical bag. You can call it a man purse. You can call it a leg holster. You can call it a whatever you want to call it. But it's got storage. I use it for travel. So it's got this is the lid, if you will, or the top of it. Let me just go like this so you can see. Here's the top of it. It's got a zippered enclosure right here. And then a slide enclosure in here. It has a belt loop here, so you can put it on a belt if you want. It's got a money stash in here on the back side. This is a leg strap, so you can strap it around your leg on the bottom. That's what this thing is. Or you can click it on here. There's like 5 different ways you can use this thing. You can use it as a crossbody. You can use it as a backpack. You can use it on the waist, strapped to the leg. And then you've got here, oh, there's the cash in there. And then as you open it in here, you have, I don't know if you can see the Velcro. That's black Velcro in here. So you can put a Kydex holster. And then out here, it has like all the little stuff for your, your flashlights, gum, whatever, passport, anything like that, all goes in here. And that thing zips closed. And in here, you can see there's the Velcro. So you can actually have this on your person. Like, let's say you're like, you got it like, okay, you're doing a crossbody thing. You've got it like this. You can actually, if you're going to your car or something like that, you see somebody, even if it's even better if it's on the leg. Just imagine if this was down lower on the leg. When this is up like this, you can have your hand in here on your piece. So you can totally have your 45, your 9mm, whatever, in your hand on here, and it doesn't look like you're touching a gun. It's not on a holster. You're not reaching like in like this. You've got it down here, down low, and you've got it on a gun. So if something's up, you can draw, you know, fast and draw on somebody if you need to. I'm not saying you need to. Now, also, this thing, whoops, money's falling out. In the back side here, you can put level 3A armor. So you can take this, throw it over. There's a way to quickly make this shorter. I can't remember how he does it. He slides it, and then this gets shorter, and you can throw this over your chest. And then right here, it protects your heart and your breastplate because it's got level 3A armor in the back, which will stop rifle bullets. And so it's kind of cool. It's a pretty cool bag. It's very well thought out. It's got Velcro, so you can put your whatever patches you want on there. And so that's Dan bought one of those from my little bro. And if you guys want to check it out, it's at Bullbag, BULBAG.com. And they're made in the United States. He's got another line that's made in Pakistan that's less money, but the one that's made in the United States is berry compliant. If you know what berry compliant, that means the military could use that. That means there is, I think, 90% or better of all the stuff that's on it, all the materials, like the fabrics U.S. made, the clasps are U.S. made. In order to be berry compliant, you've got to have, I think, it's a high level of American. You can't have like Chinese parts on something that's made here to be berry compliant. So it's pretty killer. From Funky Destination, their latest album is a good listen. Okay, so Steve DeHardy is saying the sky seems funky from Funky Destination. So we'll check it out. Funk is good stuff. I love funk. What are your thoughts on cable cookers? They work. I have one. Cable cookers do work. Why not? You know, I think they're like $800, maybe a little bit more. What are my thoughts on the M-Labs MTRX amplifiers? I don't know much about them. Is that the big one or the little ones? Or how old are they? I provided cables. I made some cables for M-Labs that had these giant blue, the power cords, giant blue RV plugs. It's stupid to have that thing on the back of the amp because the amp does not need 60 amps or whatever that plug provides. And it's just a visual thing. When I see people putting that kind of shit on amps for visual, I lose respect a little bit because I know what they're doing. It's cosmetic shit that they're selling so that when they charge $100,000, even when the amp is kind of not that big of a deal, it looks like it's worth something. Now, those amps are probably $200,000 probably now. But back in the day when we did those amps, I think there were, I don't know, Ryan, if you're still watching, you remember those amps? We had your speakers with M-Labs that time. What were those? Were 1,000-watt monoblocks. And I can't remember. So tell me more about what those amps are, and I can comment. I could even look right now on the M-Labs site and tell you how I guys suss things out if you want me to. For buying used solid-state amps, how is too old? Assuming it's good stuff. It depends on if it's been redone or not, you know? All those amps need to be recapped at one point or another. It's like saying, you know, having a clutch in a car. You know, eventually you're going to need to replace the clutch. So eventually in every amplifier, you're going to need to recap it. It's just like how long down the road, how hot have they run it? Have they had it in a closet? Did they have it in a rack that didn't have good ventilation and they ran the thing hotter than shit? Krells are notorious for having heat damage. They ran too hot back in the day. They didn't do certain things. There's ways to fix it now. You have to go in and fix it. You need to float these certain power resistors off the board with a 1/2-inch gap where they used to put them straight up to the board. It's like one of these things. Okay, well, here's a good example. Okay, so you see this one right here where my fingers, that blue cap, resistor. See how it's right up touching the board? Okay, so if this thing gets hot, it cooks the board, and it could cook traces if there's traces underneath it or whatever. It's too much heat. Now, when you know something's going to get hot, you raise it up like this one right here. See how that's raised up? That's raised up because this bastard gets hot. So it gives it air cooling around it, okay? Back in the day, the Krells would put these, mount them like that one right there, and then it would cook the board. So they, so you go in, and this is maybe a 2 watt, 2.5, 3 watt. So this is a 3 watt. So you go into the Krells where they normally had, say, a 2 watt, you put in a 3 or a 5 watt. So you get something fat like this puppy, and then you put that in the Krell, and then it runs more efficiently and it doesn't cook. So you need to know about which solid state amps are old, which problems, if those amps had problems, were known for. Some amps were known for high noise. Some amps were known for fan noise. Some amps were known for overheating. Some amps were known for just drawing a ton of current, and you need to make sure you have the proper circuit for it. So every amp, you need to know what you're doing. You just can't go buy any old amp. And the newer the better. The general rule of thumb, it's just like buying a car. Pretty much the newer stuff is better stuff. The new Class A, B stuff is better. It uses better materials, more efficient output devices. It's like it's always better to buy newer than it is to buy old. But if you just can't afford new, but the thing is, even a Jeff Roland 125, it's $4,000. But let's say you need to buy a $1,000 amp. You're going to buy something that is a total gamble. It's a risk. You have to hope that it wasn't used hard. You have to hope that it was in a good home all the time, and and not out in some storage locker in Florida where it gets humidity all the time, or up in Minnesota where it gets 30 below in someone's garage or whatever, and the boards are expanding and contracting and freezing and all that shit. You need to know. Just use stuff. Plan on repairs. That's all I got to say. Don't be surprised when you need repairs on your used shit. Just spend the freaking money. That's all I can say. You want no problem, spend the money, and you'll get a warranty. It's not that much. It's not that expensive. Do I have dedicated power in your room? I do. I have crazy dedicated power. I don't know if you watched the video, but I broke off from my main meter on the outside. I don't have a sub panel from the main panel. I have a second whole house, a second breaker panel. I came off the meter on the outside of the house. One of the runs goes into the main circuit for the house, whatever, 150 amps. The other one is, I think, 60 amps. I take and I go straight down under the house. I pop outside of the other side of the house. I come into the wall at the rig, and I have another breaker panel that is not connected to the main breaker panel of the house. It's a complete separate breaker panel. And then I have 4 ground rods right outside that breaker panel. I made them out of 101 oxygen-free copper, had them silver-plated, stuck those in the ground. I have 4-gauge silver-plated copper, Teflon insulated ground wire going to each one of those 4 coming into the house. 2 of them I use for signal ground. 2 of them I use for a safety ground. So I have a very elaborate power setup. Now, was that needed? Hell no. It wasn't needed at all. Why did I do it? So that I don't have to worry about not having good enough power. If my system something doesn't sound right, I don't ever want to think it's the ground, or I have dirty power. I want that shit eliminated. It's a process of elimination to build a system. You have to eliminate all the potential pitfalls. So one of them is AC power. One of them is room treatment. One of them is grounding. One of them is buying good gear that's not noisy and old. And then you eliminate problems so that you should come up with something that is magic, that crosses the line, really. So yeah, Tad and Manly. Yeah, good stuff, man. Absolutely. I can already tell our RX4 likes to just throw shit out and have me comment on it. Can't wait to see what speakers you are looking to bring in that will pair well with lower watt tube amps. Yes, I definitely will be interested. Okay, cool. I should have them in January. I think January 5th was the ship date. I will definitely keep you guys in the loop. Legacy speakers for 6K Donaldson. I don't know. Not really interested in legacy anything, especially speakers. Legacy, you're talking about what? Is that their names? Legacy, isn't Legacy that brand that has all the yellow drivers? I've never heard Legacy sound good to me. at all. Legacy does not sound good. If that's what you're talking about, or do you mean legacy old speakers? If you're talking about old speakers, don't ever buy old speakers. You can buy old amplifiers, you can buy old DACs and stuff like that, but don't buy old speakers, because old speakers wear the f out, and then the surrounds get weak, and then you have to recone them and do all this crazy shit. I would not buy old speakers. Bill Doddleson. There you go. Oh, from Bill Doddleson. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. Some people are into it. I'm not. I never liked Legacy. Alan Watson, I got to visit, I think Playback Designs. I'm sorry. I think Fisher and Fisher is better than Legacy for sure, without a question. And Alan Watson, I got to visit and listen to high profile client system. His listening room not only had dedicated power, he had dedicated power grid utilizing power banks on his property. Yeah, all that stuff is totally unneeded, but you know, it makes you feel better. John Ulrich of Infinity and Spectron Audio fame passed easy in the mid 2000s. His designs were proprietary with their scratching off component markings. Okay, so I don't even know. Never even heard of the brand. Don't know anything about Spectron. Mark Johnson, you might be able to find a used pair of Kudos Titan 505 bookshelf speakers for that price. Never even heard of that. What is Kudos, and why do you name your brand Kudos? So buy the shit from me, man. You're on my damn channel. Fuck this used shit. buy something from me and that has a warranty that I tell you is going to sound phenomenal and blow your mind, or you get your money back. You buy any of this used shit, once you buy it, you're cooked. You have to keep it. Okay, you can't return it and say I didn't like the sound. With me, you can return it and say I didn't like the sound. It wasn't to my liking. It didn't give enough this or that. You're covered. Your ass is covered when you buy from me. If you want to go out there because you can't afford $4,500 and you need, but you just said $6,000, you know, call and consult with me and find out what's up. The brands that I carry have warranty. They're covered. They're going to perform. I guarantee them to blow your mind. I don't guarantee them to just work properly, which is what 99% of dealers will guarantee you. They'll guarantee you that the shit shows up and it works properly. I will guarantee you it blows your fucking mind, okay? Not just it works. It blows your mind. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe how freaking good this shit is. I totally got my money's worth. If that is not your response from listening to what I sell you, then it comes back to me. You get all your money back. There's no restock fee. It's idiot proof, okay? Just, you know, don't even consider anything else. That's my feeling on it. SW1X, do they do shows? I don't think so. At least the guide doesn't. Somebody might take them. One of the dealers might take SW1X to the shows, but you'd have to ask around and find out. It's still kind of a up and comer. You know, it hasn't arrived yet. Scott Clark, yes, I think they're focused on their new FR speakers and need to free up space as they're undergoing a remodel. Whatever. You can even use that bag as a hat, brooch, or pterodactyl. Airplane. Oh, yeah. Nice. There it is. Bullbag.com. That's the thing. Rachel, how many hand grenades does it hold? Asking for a friend. I'd say about 4. You can clip them on. Yeah. Total. For what is it? FWIW or something? For something like that, where they I bought 2 bull bags, one pro line bag and one standard grade. And could you tell the difference? Good evening, gang. What's up, Shane? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm a big fan of Alan and his cable cooker. Highly recommended. Yes, man. Totally. Hi, Mikey. What are your thoughts on open baffle speaker designs? They can be really good. My thoughts on open baffle speaker designs is they should not be the same price as cabinet speakers, okay? Because they don't have a cabinet. And on a cabinet speaker, it costs a lot. The most expensive thing is making that airtight sealed box in a way where it won't come apart when you play heavy duty bass through it, right? Cabinets are extremely complicated. As you can tell, look at how the speakers are pitched. Go to the websites. You'll see They're just all about how they construct their cabinets and what they do to hinder resonance, or how they use resonance. I've got a speaker coming in that actually uses cabinet resonance in its design. Very interesting. So open baffle speakers can sound good. Now, they need to be up against the front wall to get the best bass. If you put them out into the middle of the room, it's very hard to make bass with speakers that don't have something to reflect off them. So open baffle, I like them closer to the front wall to get a better bass. And they should be a reasonable price. I don't think they should be over like 10 grand. I think every open baffle, unless you're doing something absolutely cuckoo. And I've seen a couple designs that are absolutely wickedly cuckoo. They're just like speaker drivers with the claw on back holding each driver. It doesn't even have a baffle. Those are really crazy, but they get super expensive, and there's no freaking cabinet. All you're doing is making a frame out of aluminum and putting drivers there. You don't have to mess with the cabinet. You don't have to tune. You just make a crossover, put that shit out there. I'm not saying it's easy, but it doesn't cost that much, nearly as much as a cabinet speaker. So open baffles should not be the same price. They should always be, I'd say, 30% lower for an equal design, if not more like 50% of the cost of full cabinet designs. Why is Fisher & Fisher speakers ordering time so long? Because they sell out fast. I can't keep them in stock. I just ordered one of everything and four of the SN70s and two of the 270s. Like, I mean, I can't keep them in stock. And the ordering time isn't long. You can get one right away if you want. If it's the model that I have in stock. I keep 15 pairs of Fisher & Fisher in stock. So right now I will have them in 5 days. And then, so if 5 days is a long time, then 5 days is a long time. It's not normally a long time. Normally you're going to call me up. It's in stock. It takes 24 hours. But I wasn't prepared for the response that people were going to have. I bought 6 or 8 pairs. They went like that. People listen to them. They buy them immediately. They make their decision up like that. I've never seen anything do what those do. They're totally better than MDF speakers. They're clearly better. You hear them and then you look at the price and you're like, oh my God, they're only 20 grand and they sound that good. And they're 4 foot tall, made out of stone speakers. And then you look at Acora acoustics and 4 foot tall floor standers are $100,000. And you're like, I'll buy it, So, but they sold faster than I expected. So now I know, order 15 pair at a time, like I just did. Don't order 6 pair at a time, order 15 pair at a time. So now I'll have them in stock. I thought they were $70K back then. They could have been. I have no idea. It's unimportant. It's an unimportant amp brand to me. Yo, Shane. Mike, when building a power cable, is crushed quartz the secret ingredient? No, not at all. It can work, but it's just a little frosting on the cake. It is definitely not what makes or breaks the cable at all. Plugs almost ripped the socket out of the walls. Yeah, right. I don't know what plugs you're talking about. The plugs that I put on, highly doubtful. Hey, Dan. Do Class A, B amplifiers benefit from high usage hours like Class D? I don't think really anything. Look, everything has a break-in period. But then it's got a duty cycle. Class D may have a longer duty cycle than Class AB, but Class AB, when properly made, you can turn them on and not turn them off for 15 years and they still work. Jeff Rowland, Class AB, for instance. I've had them on for like 2 years. You had them on for 2 years, never turn them off. Doesn't matter. They're built that well. So it all depends on the build quality. It's not about whether it's Class AB or whether it's Class D. It's about how heavy duty is it built? What's it built for? Is it built to a medical level? Is it built to an industrial level or a NASA aerospace level? Or is it built to cheap ass Chinese shit level. Okay. That stuff will break and then you chuck it out. Have you ever heard any power conditioner regenerator that sounds better than plugging directly into the wall with a good audiophile outlet? Yeah, totally. The PS Audio regenerator thing, the big one, the fat boy, the one that's like this tall. I've done it on 2 separate occasions now where I plugged into the wall, sounded better, plugged into the PS Audio regenerator, and it sort of tamped it down or muffled it a little bit. It deadened it to a slight degree, but it was definitely audible. But one customer was I did a system for him in the Four Seasons. He lives in the Four Seasons, and he's in a building that has metal stud walls, and there's wicked noise. Like whatever buildings are nearby him have radio towers and transmitters, and they transmit and they get into the freaking metal in the walls, and it's retarded, noisy AC power. Very hard to work with. It was a long time ago before Puritan Audio, which, you know, now I'm just thinking I should bring him a Puritan Audio. We could replace that PS Audio and get him better sound. We knocked the sound, the noise way down, but we weren't able to eliminate it. The other guy had 2 of those PS Audio regenerators, one for each monoblock. AccuPhase stuff, and he lived in town here in Atlanta, and we plugged it in the wall. It sounded better. He even heard it, and we said, yeah, it's clear that it sounds better. Typically anything that has a transformer in it, it's going to sound better into the wall. Anything with any active filter that is active, that has a transformer, those things will clamp the dynamics. They just can't hold enough juice for an audio rig to hit low frequency at any sort of sustained level. You'll tap out that transformer immediately. You can't make a transformer big enough that fits in a rack space. If you had a giant transformer, one that was this big, like somebody mentioned, somebody had one outside the house, a transformer, that will work, okay? Because you put it outside the house and it's the size of a small refrigerator. You know, transformers that big will do the job. But any transformer that can fit in a normal audio chassis, forget about it. You don't want it in your rig. So yes, I have heard that. Superior design with average components versus average design with superior, the former, for sure. Superior circuit, killer circuit layout with average components always kicks the shit out of an average design where they put all WEMA caps and all this shit. Like they try and tell you, you know, like this is a Chinese board. This came out of Jay's, what's that? Kinky Studio, I think. That's what this thing is, out of a Kinky Studio. See if I can, yep, it's a Kinky Studio. And look, they put in, you know, WEMA, and you don't even know if these are real WEMAs, you know. If they come out of China, they can be knockoff, you know. Vishay caps, and they're going to tell you all about the Vishay caps. They'll tell you about the WEMA and all that shit. And unless it's a good circuit design, it doesn't matter how that's why it's kind of suspect when people start pitching the caps and the resistors and stuff like that. It's suspect. It's like the first red flag that their circuit isn't that great because they're pitching the parts. Whereas a company that has a killer circuit design, they don't talk about the parts. They just say, listen to our product. You know, here's what people have been saying. So the former, for sure. Superior design, nothing can beat a killer circuit layout, period. That's what trumps everything. Who would you rather dance with, John DeVore or the devil? That's funny. When's your new room going to be ready? I don't know, man. My time is getting crowded up. I've got to go up to Chicago. I've got a pretty intense system going in up there. So I've got to fly up to Illinois before Christmas. I might be doing Christmas in a different state. So that would preclude me from doing anything really up through the holidays. I'll get back after that. And then I have to see, man. Then I'm pretty damn close. So it'll probably be another 30 days, maybe 60 days. Klein and AGD Class D monos. No Klein. Do you find that point-to-point wiring is beneficial? It can be. Again, these are things that you hear from somebody somewhere. It's got point-to-point wiring. Okay. Well, again, we go back to the last question about superior design with average components or average design with superior components, it's the same thing. An average design with point-to-point wiring is not as good as a superior design on a PC board. Okay, so again, it all drops down to circuit layout. What makes a difference? What does it sound like? Typically, what you're doing with point-to-point, you can only use point-to-point in very simple designs. Okay, so complex designs, forget about point-to-point. It only works with usually super simple tube amps are done point-to-point. Okay, because it's easier. There's very little parts in there to do point-to-point. The idea is you don't run it across a copper foil trace. You're eliminating the traces. So if you can look on this board, okay, you see all these. Let me get my handy dandy pointer here. You see these lines that go like this? Okay, so this is a wire. Okay, but instead of it being a wire, you've got this whole board is a layer of copper, and then this stuff is etched off, and you rinse it out, and this stuff with acid, it etches out, and then it leaves the copper trace, this is called, which is in lieu of a wire. So it's much easier to assemble, it's contained, it's just more efficient, and it makes more sense from a production side of things. But what you could do is, so for instance, let's say this part needs to touch to this one here. See how they're connected from this to this? You could actually take the leg of this part on the other side of the board and just solder it directly to the leg of this part. And then that way you don't have this copper foil in between the two legs. You just solder the two legs, eliminating the copper junction. So what it is it's really getting nitpicky. You're really trying to say, well, it's, let's put it this way. Point to point is not going to make or break the design. Okay. It's something in many times you have to do, because there's certain times you just can't put it on a PC board. And typically it's in tube amps, and it's much better for heat, and you eliminate that little trace. But you got to ask yourself, how good is the circuit? Because a good circuit, doesn't matter if it's on a circuit board, it will kick ass on a poor circuit that is point-to-point wired. Kudos is pronounced Q-DOS. Oh, okay. It's one of those things. It's too cool. It's a British loudspeaker company founded by Gilligan's Island. Okay. Derek was also the co-founder of Neat Acoustics, another brand that I have no idea about. Never heard of that guy. Never heard of. It's probably because it's British, and I don't like British speakers. I can't stand them. They're too polite. I don't like British sound. So I ignore British. The second I hear it's British, I blow it off. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's ATC. I don't care what British shit it is. I blow it off. I don't like British. So it's no wonder that I don't know either one of those brands, nor Gilligan or whatever. I'm sure it's great stuff, but I'll bet you the German shit kicks its ass. The differences between the two lines of Bullbags are obvious. Yeah, they should be, right? And you can tell that one's made in USA. It's sweet, man. I love that bag. Steve says, yo, Mikey, what is your opinion on spectral audio and MIT cables? Okay, MIT cables, whatever. That's what I think about MIT. It's the same thing I think about transparent. Whatever. You got a lunchbox in the middle of the freaking cable. Okay, why don't you just make a component? Okay, it's a component. They're putting a component in the middle. Typically, it's an impedance matching device or some shit like that. That is like, and then like with transparent, you need to tell them what amplifier it is, tell them what speakers in, and then they plug in the right parts into that little lunchbox. To me, it's like that's ridiculous, man. Your system should not need that. Okay, you should have just a regular cable that is a good copper or silver plated copper or silver or whatever. Just be a well-made cable, and then freaking leave it alone. Okay, that's my thing about this. You don't need, but you got to understand, these cable companies are trying to make their cables $100,000. So how do they do it? They need to make it more complicated. How do they make it more complicated? There's only so much you can do with a wire. Well, let's put a component in the middle, and then we can pitch it like, look, you're getting a whole nother component when you buy this. It's in the middle of the cable, and it does this and this and this and this, has a bunch of parts in it. So MIT cables, I don't like them. I never have. Transparent, I don't like it. Anytime you put a pregnant boa, right, like a thing in the middle, or a boa that just swallowed a rat, you know, where it has this lump in the middle of the cable, I'm out. I'm out. I don't want to even listen to your pitch about what the hell's in the lunchbox. I don't care. I want a system that does it without your freaking lunchbox. Because what happens then is you become held hostage to the cable company. The cable company then becomes your slave master. When you count on that cable, you should never count on the cable to make the sound of your rig. Again, I'll say that again. No one should ever have to count on having a certain cable in the rig to make that system. Okay, they got you by the balls. The second they do that, and the second you're dependent, that cable company has you by the short hairs, right? And they're going to hold on, and you are now their slave. Okay, you can't change your gear without changing the cable. You have to make sure it's the right cable, and they're going to always try and upsell you into the next level of cable and the next level of cable until ad nauseum, until the cables become $100,000, and it's ridiculous. I think it's a hustle. I think it's bullshit, and I don't believe in it. And do cables make a difference? Yes, they do. Should they be $100,000 and make or break your system? Not even in the least. Okay, so that is my feeling about MIT, and they kind of started the pregnant boa thing, as I remember, and then Transparent seems to have followed. I like brands that don't have that. Okay, Spectral Audio, I've never heard them. I talked with them when I was in California. I wanted to come by and listen. They weren't able to do that at the time. They are a small company. They can't produce as much as the demand. They're already full up. They can't take any more sales. So Spectral is tapped out. They're already at a point where they can't do any more. So I had to just sort of walk away. I was like, can you handle? And this is a legitimate question. When I talk to new brands that I'm considering and I want to hear the thing, I let them know the reason I'm coming to hear it is because my intent is to potentially carry your product and sell it to my crew. And so I need to ask them fairly, can you handle more sales? Do you want more sales? Because I will bring your ass more sales. Okay. Some companies don't want that. And it's a legitimate question. I all but tap out Playback Designs. I have Playback Designs cannot keep up. They can barely keep up with my demand on DAX. And I'm talking about $26,000 DAX. I've got them loaded up, and it was great for them because when I first met Playback Designs, their sales were low because they didn't have good representation. And then I heard it and I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe this isn't a well-known DAC. I can't believe everybody doesn't have one of these. Like, this is at every show in everybody's room. This is one of those DAC. It's that good. So I was fortunate, I came in, and then with the amount of sales I do, they won't take any more dealers. So that's like where Spectral is. Spectral doesn't want to take any more dealers because they're tapped out. They can't make any more amps than they're already making. How many amps that is, I don't know. Some places, Andreas at Playback Design still makes a pretty decent amount of DAX for me, but I don't even know. Spectral seemed like they, it's like, how many pairs can you make in a month? Like 1, 2, that's not enough. In most of the time, unless it's $100,000 amp, then maybe 1 or 2 per month would be reasonable. So I haven't heard Spectral. I've heard good things about Spectral, but I have not had a chance to listen to them. I would like to hear them, but it would be, if I know that I can't sell them, then it's kind of a waste of my time. I don't have time to listen to stuff, and I'm not a reviewer. All I do is give you guys my opinion on shit. I don't review it, which they should not give opinions. They should just review it and be they should be objective, but they're not because they get paid for the reviews. Harbeth used cabinet. Great. We're happy for them. Any recommendations on amplifiers, pre-power or integrated, that beautify music? I don't care about accuracy so much. I just want everything to sound even better than it actually is. Well, I mean, I don't think that is really possible. Make it sound better than it actually is. That's not possible. You can have something that is more forgiving towards shit recordings. Okay, that's what you can have. You can get something that is more forgiving. You can't have anything that makes shit sound better. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Now, what you have to realize is maybe coming from crappy sound equipment, and then you come to hi-fi, high-end stuff, and you think, it's making it sound better. No, it's not making it sound better. Your old stuff was making it sound shittier. Okay. So we can't make music sound better on hi-fi gear. We can just reduce the damage that the gear does to the music in its natural state. Okay. So it's like damage control. Every amplifier, every piece of equipment is simply damage control to the music. How little damage can we, how little can we mess it up? Shitty gear messes it up good and well. As you go higher up, you're going to think, oh, this is making it sound better, but it's not. It's just damaging it less. Okay. So I hope that concept sort of sinks in. And then you can say certain products and certain brands are more forgiving. Audio analog is a terrific name for it because it sounds very analog like, regardless what it is. It's very musical sounding, and it is a fair price, and it comes from Italy, and I import it to the United States. It was good enough that I'm willing to put it under my wing and invest in the company and buy the stuff and inventory it so that you guys can enjoy it and buy it from me. And I only do that with brands that I think are a strong value at their full retail. Okay. A lot of these brands are no good unless they're half price off. That's the only way they're worth it, is half price. I bring stuff that is worth it at full price, so we don't have to play games. So audio analog would be my answer to that. Watching my 2023 and 2024 Capital, I couldn't help but notice how much healthier you look now. Congratulations, brother. I hope the missus likes it too. She's just happy because I ain't going to drop dead from heart attack, But yeah, man, I mean, at one point, all of us get to a certain age where we realize, shit's going to break on me if I don't take a different approach. I can't lead the lifestyle just eating all the desserts I want and all the shit and not exercising and just being a heathen. At some point you got to get responsible. Have you guys seen the videos of a freaking RFK Jr.? Holy shit! So on the internet now, there's videos circulating of RFK Jr. with his shirt off, and that dude is stacked, man. And he is an old geezer. He's over 60 years old. He's got to be doing testosterone replacement therapy because there's no way you're building muscles like that old. And many folks do that TRT. They shoot up roids basically, but it's test and it helps you maintain muscle mass in your old age. But yeah, at some certain point, man, you wake up. And so let's just say I had and plus the fact that I ended up in the hospital with my damn from eating like shit. If I buy our own 125 from you, can I use my musical fidelity integrated as a pre? That would depend on the preamp, but most of them do have pre-outs. That's called a pre-out. If you have pre-outs on the pre, then it just goes out to the amps and you control it. It bypasses the amp section. So make sure you got pre-outs. Does the integrated need a load hooked up to the speaker terminals like a tube amp would? If it's a tube integrated, it does. If it's a solid state integrated, it does not. Julio, ¿qué onda? What, he's got a reversal, it looks like. That looks like a reversal right there, buddy. Hey, Mikey, getting excited on working with you on my system. Yeah, buddy. That's right. Okay, yeah, you ordered the I've got to get to that tomorrow. Call me tomorrow, man, because I've got to ship you that Playback Designs. Julio just got a Playback Designs MPD 6 with streamer on it, and you're going to be a happy camper. I see the trolls have arrived. Yeah, it's all good, man. It's just trolls roll off my back now these days. Chemicon capacitors are outstanding for the money. Cool. Let's hook up if you're in Chi-Town during the week of Christmas. I will be. I don't know if it's going to be the week of Christmas. It's going to be before. The target date is the 16th, so like 8 days from now. That's my target date. ATC kicks ass. Yep, but I don't want it. How small is Jeff Rowland Design Group? Pretty small. Their amplifiers are highly respected, but the website still has the discontinued 625 S2, no 555, and you are not listed as a U.S. distributor dealer. Yeah, they're really, that's weird that I'm not on there as a seller. I'm not a distributor, but I would be a dealer. What can I say? I've given them a hard time enough, and Jeff is going to do whatever the hell he wants. if they take off everything that they don't make anymore, it will look like they don't have enough shit, because that's probably the truth. They don't have, they've got like 3 or 4 designs they can sell you right now. That's it. Jeff is in a winding down phase. He's not in a building phase. He's not going to go make a whole bunch of new shit. The guy's freaking old, man. And he doesn't like the industry. He thinks the industry's fucked, and he makes shit way better than people that don't care, that are in the industry, that seem to be the prolific ones in the industry. So he doesn't give a shit. He's like, I don't fucking care. It's like, it's a lot of these companies. You guys are not, I mean, in 10 years from now, God knows who the fuck is going to be in the hi-fi audio industry. Shelly Labs shit, I mean, it's like none of the really good shit is going to be around. It's going to disappear, man. And we're going to be like, holy shit, what do we do? It's going to be a bygone era. We are living in a time right now where buy your hi-fi gear. It can all be fixed if it needs to be fixed. Doesn't matter if the company's in business or not, but get your ass a 555. I'm absolutely a Jeff Rowland dealer. I'm going to have to, I didn't know I'm not on the site. So I'm going to hit the bat line up. Let's see. I'm going to hit that. Yeah, I'm going to hit that up. I'll do that later. Most solid state amps use either Sanken, Sanyo, or Toshiba output state transistors. So it's humorous because they are just modified Sanyos and Toshibas. Right. But why do we give a shit, Scott? It just doesn't fucking matter what's in there, right? How does the amp sound? I don't give a shit if it's got Kookaburra, Sanyo, Sanka, chocolate-covered mosquito balls. I don't give a fuck what's in there. Like, and this is, and as you can tell, it's a hot button for me. Scott, are you an audio engineer? Are you an audio electrical engineer? If you're not, then zip it, because you don't know enough about this shit. You're just parroting what you've read on the internet. Now, I understand. Now, I'm trying to make a point. That's why I'm saying it like this, right? Because I want it to stick. So I'm giving it some teeth, okay, with the way I'm laying this out, okay. But don't get offended, and don't get butthurt or whatever. But unless you're a fucking engineer, don't talk about what the parts are, because you sound stupid. It's like you sound stupid. You're just saying some shit, and what does it mean? Okay, so Pete from Down Under didn't have an answer to my question. So let me ask you: why would you prefer Sanken to Toshiba, or why would you prefer those to On Semiconductor? Okay, let's have a conversation. Talk to me like an engineer. Why can't we use On Semiconductors? Okay, why wouldn't we use Motorola? Why do we need Sanyo or Toshiba? What's the difference? Okay, tell me what the difference is. Tell me sonically what the difference is. Tell me how they fit in the circuit different and how they react to the circuit differently. Tell me what the pros and cons are of each one. And then you will have earned your right to talk to me like this, okay? I'm not even an audio engineer, and I don't talk like this, okay? So, but if you're gonna bring this, you better be a fucking engineer, because tell me why. Tell me why Sanken. Why can't we use On or Motorola? Okay? Let me ask you that. And I'm not even an engineer, but I'll still ask you that question just to see if you can stand on your feet. Maybe you are an audio engineer. And if you are, then identify yourself as one so that your words carry weight, because otherwise this shit is drivel, okay? It's just like jerking off for us. We all get to see that you know names and you know all this shit. And but if you don't know what you're talking about, you're faking right now. You're faking that you know shit. Okay, so back this up to prove to us that you know what the hell you're talking about, so that your words have some worth. The reason why I'm hot on something like this is because too many jackasses on YouTube talk shit that they don't know anything about. I see guys that are clerks from fucking stores that are just fucking clerks for $15 punching a clock, clerks that have 70,000 fucking viewers, and you guys are watching them like they're fucking professionals. I'm like, these guys don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, and people are hanging on every word because it's a beautiful video and the pan shots are nice and everything's backlit and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, it's exhausting to me. And this is the what's happening right now. This is why Jeff Rowland doesn't have shit up on his site, because he's like, fuck you guys in the industry. You guys all think you know shit. You're going to start asking me what output devices are in my fucking amp. And then I'm going to be like, okay, so why are you asking me that? Right? So this kind of shit, it's like a masturbation fest. Everybody's talking about shit they don't know anything about. Let's put the rubber to the road. Why don't we make music? Why don't we talk about music? Why are we talking about what kind of fucking transistors are in there? This is a transistor, by the way, if you people want to know. And you can look right on the side. This one is Exicon, probably a Chinese brand. But, the good ones that I know of, Motorola. Okay, so you can pitch Sanyo or Toshiba. I'll pitch Motorola and On Semiconductor. And I don't even know how to pitch them. I don't even know why they're better. I just know they're newer. You're talking about old shit. So, this is what is a lot of the issue and a lot of the resentment that I have towards audio industry is you guys have been so misled and so brought down a path of confusion that you come and start talking to each other. Now, Scott is going to have a conversation with somebody else on some forum somewhere, and neither one of them is going to be. Now, Scott, if you are an audio engineer, okay, good. But I'm going to assume you're not. And because this happens a lot in the forums, two guys that are not engineers are going to be talking back and forth. Well, does it have Sanyo or Toshiba? Well, that shit's no good unless it's got Motorola. And I heard that the motor, you got to have the Motorola because of blah, blah, blah. And it's two non-engineers talking like they're engineers because they're jerking off on each other. It's like, here, you give me yours and you jerk mine and I'll jerk yours, and we'll pretend that we're audio engineers. We'll pretend we know what we're talking about. But none of this discussion is going to get anybody anywhere. It's not going to accomplish anything. It's not going to create anything. All it's going to do is just use up our brain for useless discussion. I'd rather have meaningful discussions. So this kind of shit, I don't support this kind of talk because it's useless talk. Okay, let's talk about shit that matters. And trying to get into circuit design is not our territory, okay? So let's agree to leave the circuit design talk to the fucking engineers, right? Unless we want to make some point, and then you better have something to back it up. And I know that was a really long answer to what you said, but I hope you guys are picking up what I'm laying down. We need to not concern ourselves with the name brand of the parts inside the gear. We need to be more concerned about how good does it sound? How does it match with my speakers? How long is it going to last? Is there a warranty? How much does it cost? And is there a return policy? Those are the things you need to be concerned about as an end user. If you're designing an amp, then you can have this question that Scott's talking about. And you can have it with other engineers when you're trying to design your new amplifier. Okay, but otherwise, it has no place. This conversation has no place with us as listeners and music lovers. So I hope that's clear. Remember the Ming Ping wooden pucks they used to put on top of speakers and components back in the night? No, I don't. But I love the name Ming Ping. Total Pingus Mingus. There's been so many, and you know what? I tried to show you in my closet so we can go back and reminisce about some of these things. But there has been so many things. They don't even have that many anymore. Tweaks used to be much more prolific than they are today. But man, there used to be 1,000,001 different things. I even brought the Brilliant Pebbles guy on the freaking show to talk to you. And I'll tell you what, I was blown away by that shit that he did, his teleportation tweak that he did on the phone. Tap, 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 chick, 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 with like some sort of quartz or whatever. He had I know what he had on his shit, and I'm not even going to go into it. It's just weird freaking shit that's like, if that works, then there's absolutely aliens in the world, right? I know if his little teleportation tweak, then for sure there's aliens. For sure, Biden is a lizard. It's like anything could fucking happen. If that shit works, like I heard on my phone and we heard in our rig, where he wasn't even over here. He just tapped on the phone. Our cell phones were in the room with the rig, and we heard the sound get better. Like, I now believe in anything is possible. It doesn't matter. You could tell me anything, and I go, yeah, okay, that's cool. I get it. Might be a little weird, but anything can happen. So, no, I don't remember Ming Pings, but there has been so many of these things. Techware is the worst. Okay, I don't know. Oh, too long a lead time. Yeah. Techware is like 2 years lead time. They used to be underpowered amps. And my opinion was they're underpowered. I guess they're making one now that is 60 watts. I'm sorry, 60 watts, which is like 4 times what Deckware amps were. They were like 15 watts when I bought my first Deckware. When I bought my only Deckware, was the first tube amp I bought. It was like $1,500 and it was 15 watts. Wasn't enough to power my speakers, but I got an idea of what tube sound sounded like. I sold it and then I got something else. Spectral and Dunleavy, awesome combo for sure, man. Dunleavy is a killer brand, and Duntech now, right? Dismissing a product based solely on its origin ignores the importance of design and performance. The very thing you preach is most important when choosing products. No, but you're not getting it, Hoosier. I'm dismissing a product based on its origin because China is that what you're talking about? First of all, let me make sure I'm addressing what you're talking about. I presume you're saying I'm dismissing. Oh no, you're talking about British hi-fi. Ignores the importance of design and performance. There is no design and performance to British hi-fi. In my mind, it's not performance. It's lack of performance, okay? Some people like limp dick sound, okay? To me, British sound is limp dick, okay? So I like a raging hard-on. So I like American hi-fi. It's like rock and roll, baby. It's a fist, okay? I like loud Harley Davidson. I like Ducati that's loud. I guess I would like Aston Martin, okay? A hot rod Aston Martin would be badass. But British, unless you get to the very, very, very expensive shit, British in the middle ground sucks. Their cars, they shit for cars in the middle ground. The very high end, that's where British can do some shit at the very, very high end. But I don't consider stuff like Harbeth very high end. That's mid-level to me. It's not interesting. It's like the LR. What are those speakers? They use them for. I can't remember what they call them for, but they're for the for radio. You know, you use them in the mixing studio, and it's for listening to the radio stuff. So I can do whatever I want, just like you can do whatever you want. So I can dismiss British hi-fi and not sell it and not talk about it if I want to, just like I dismiss Chinese hi-fi because I don't like it, because they have human rights violations because of a political thing, and they're bad actors. I don't know if you guys saw the story recently. They found, what was it, $8 million or $18 million worth of fake Gibson guitars that came from China. These are American guitars, and they're coming in containers from China. It's like, okay, something's wrong. There's Gibson guitars coming in from China. And there were 8 million of all these Les Pauls and all this shit, fake shit. They're bad actors. They don't give a shit. They call it free market. So screw them. But British is just limp to me. It's never been my thing. So I can ignore. I don't think the British design is important. Okay, so you're saying it dismissing a product based on its origin ignores the importance of design, but it's not important to me and performance. The very thing you preach is most important when choosing products. The very thing that I preach is most important is for you to like the sound. So if you like British sound, buy from somebody else. Don't buy from me, okay? Because I'm not giving you British sound because I don't like it, and I'm not going to sell shit that I don't like. That's the thing about me. I'm not a good businessman. If I was a good businessman, I'd sell you headphones. I'd sell you turntables. Sell you turntable cartridges. I'd sell you freaking record cleaning machines. I would sell you British hi-fi. I would sell you Focal, Macintosh, Magico, all the stuff that I don't like. I would try and sell it to you, or I would sell it to you. So I don't sell what I don't like. I don't like British audio. I don't think it's important. Therefore, I don't need to even give it attention. Okay. So hope that helps you. I'm not here to give everybody an equal chance, to give every brand an equal chance on an even playing field. No, I'm not here to do that. I'm here to cut the throats of brands that I don't like, and not necessarily cut the throats, but not carry them, right? Ignore them, blow them off, and then bring you guys the shit that I'm excited about, that I like. And then if you and my vision is aligned, our sound, our ears are aligned, that's why I go to the shows. I go to the shows to do an example of a room to show you what Mikey sound is like. Mikey sound wins Best of Show awards for whatever that's worth. Maybe you don't like Mikey sound, but plenty of people do. And so that's what I'm here to do, is just bring you Mikey sound. I'm not here to bring you an even synopsis of all the designs that are out there. I don't give two shits about Britain. So am I mistaken? Or is room treatment for music playback not a hard science, but more of an art? Some experts say the first reflections should be absorbed. Others say diffused. Conflicts abound. Byron's just full of good questions, aren't you? You can look at it two different ways. Okay. Here's how I look at it. How I look at room treatment is just put some of that shit in the room and don't worry about it. Okay. A good system is going to trump the room. Okay. Now, I say that lightly. There are some rooms that are just, you can't put, you're not going to make them sound good no matter what. And it's not a normal bedroom type room. I'm talking about the rooms that are like chalets in Aspen that have glass walls that go up 20 feet and they have a spiral staircase that's metal, and you're trying to fit an audio system on a tile floor or whatever, you know, something weird, like shit like that. Tile wouldn't be in Aspen. I know it would be in South Florida. We would have wood floors in Aspen or something else, but reflective surfaces. Okay. Certain rooms you just can't do shit with, and no amount of room treatment is going to fix it. Now, the guys that sell room treatment will absolutely tell you it is paramount. You need to spend $10,000 on $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 on your room treatment before you even put the first piece of gear in there. Okay. Well, what are you doing with that room? Are you making a fucking recording studio? No, you're not. Are you making a listening studio, a mastering studio? No, you're not, man. And these guys are building out your room like you'd build out a freaking studio. It's not needed, man. We don't listen like you do in a studio. There's a reason the studio sounds like that, and it's for a different purpose than musical enjoyment. It's for music critiquing and for making small changes and being able to hear small changes when they EQ the mix or whatever. So you don't, but these guys that make recording studios have crept their way into the home world, and they will have you believe that you need to spend an ass load of money for your home-based listening room. I disagree. I say put some tube traps in the corner in the front, put some tube traps in the corner in the back. Maybe something at the first reflection point, but you can mess with that if you want. You put them up, move them, take them, tow your speakers in. And I have found more often than not, you don't need that much. If you look at my room, we had 4 tube traps. No, 2 tube traps. We only had 2 tube traps in the room that we had. Let me think again. Or did I take 4? No, 2 tube traps. We had 2 tube traps, the ones that are like this big. They were like a 13-inch diameter. And that's all we needed in the room was 2 tube traps. So you don't need to trip out on it, but you should definitely have something in there. Okay. Hi, Mikey. It's a bit late, so watching from the start. Does Serbia do the best barbecue in the world? I really don't know, man. Had some the other day, pretty good. I plan on going to Macedonia with Otriad for some barbecue. United States has the best barbecue, bro. Georgia, we've got some sick barbecue here. Texas has incredible brisket. North Carolina has some pretty good barbecue. St. Louis has good barbecue. Memphis has some good barbecue. So yeah, I don't know that they do. I mean, Brazil has an interesting take on barbecue. Korea has good barbecue. So I guess I guess they could have some great barbecue, but I've never heard of Serbia being the best, or any of the Eastern European, like, standing out for doing barbecue. I didn't know anything about that. Once I get the 570s, what do I upgrade? My amp, Pass Labs, or my DAC, Mola Mola? Your DAC. Your DAC. 570s with your integrated 60, you'll have high current. Your DAC, for sure. Mitika, Foka. Hi, Mikey. What are your thoughts on the Cat SL1? Great preamp. Buy it used. Get it for a song, and they're great preamps. Do you have any thoughts on Cat, more generally speaking? No, I don't. The Cat SL1 is the only thing I'm aware from Cat that really is noteworthy. Is that preamp, and you can buy those things used, and the circuit hasn't changed much over the years, so you can buy them 10 years old and get them for $4,000, and this is a world-class level 2 preamp. So I think very highly of that preamp, and it's a great one on the used market. Hey, I have Techniques SUR 1000. What do you think about the DAC on it? Should I just use the pre-out for a Jeff Roland 555? I can't answer that question until I know more about how you listen, what the room's like, what the speakers are, what music you listen to, you need to call me up and I can consult with you. If you go to 11stereo.com, and you will see, let's see, here we go, 11 Stereo. Contact Mike at 11stereo.com via phone for free consultation if you're looking to purchase hi-fi gear. And just make a decision. I'm not expecting you to purchase, but I would hope that when I give you time, and if you're looking for something that I carry, that you would engage my services. And so that is that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and smash the thumbs up button as a way to help support my content here, if you like it. So again, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, cost you nothing. And then that way you will be in the loop of all the stuff that I do. Let me do that. Let me go here. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I lost my spot. Okay, where am I? I lost my. Go down. Where am I? Okay. Oh, there I am. Okay. A couple of borderline trolls are pushing Mikey's buttons tonight. It's all good, man. I mean, it gives me the passion, so I count on those guys. Otherwise I might be a little sleepy or tired. But man, they give me a little energy, so it's all good. Trolls abound in every live stream. They help dig the exercise the demons. I mean, who gets on a hi-fi chat and comments about a guy's appearance? Who talked about somebody's appearance? I have no idea. Please post the link of your sales site. Thank you. It is 11 Stereo. 11stereo.com. 11stereo.com. And you'll see that in a second. Cat is great. I owned one of their DACs in the 1990s. Yeah, they go back a long way. Is there any company that you can recommend a full audio loom purchase? Yeah, Virastar, my company. I have a patented cable designs. I'm a cable designer before anything. You probably didn't know that. That's my first hat. That's how I cut my teeth in this business, with a cable brand called Virastar, Verastarr. So that's the brand you should get a full loom from, is me. Scott Clark, wow, Toshiba transistors. Which would be what? Yeah, exactly. They're old. MOSFET. The Japanese went to this because they did not want to pay Bell Labs patents on other transistors. Okay, we got a little trivia. That's Scott Clark. John Ulrich, a Spectron audio, told me a voice of Class D amps using 10 Levy speakers. He told me to keep my SC4As if I had a Spectron amp. There you go. Rogers on the BBC. Okay. Had an RCAM and it was 100% too soft. I agree on British sound being too soft. I do too. Yeah, it's just what I found. And nothing wrong with it. Some people like that kind of sound, but just not myself. BS distraction on manufacturer of transistors. More important to focus on overall design. Oh, and maybe listen to the amp. Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Quad is the Viagra of British sound. There you go. Stacked quads. I talked to a guy the other day that was going to do 4 quads per side. Dual stacked quads on each side. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Settle down, Mike. I was making humor of how the output transistors are always the same. Relax, buddy. You're overreacting here, Mike. Have a nice day and goodbye. What a dick. Yeah, a big dick. That's what it says on the back of my motorcycle. I talked to engineer like AGY. Sad times, Mike, when you get like that. Well, you're not an engineer, so quit playing engineer, man. Sorry I hurt your feelings. Put some salve on your butt. He's butt hurt. You need some diaper rash ointment. 11stereo.com. If you can't take it, don't hang out with the big dogs if you can't take it. I wasn't saying it personally to hurt your feelings, but you took it to hurt your feelings. I'm saying it as the industry because people talk about shit they shouldn't be talking about. That's it. That means you, brother. Okay, that means me. Why do you think I don't have on my live streams? Why don't I talk about parts and names and shit like that? Because it's not fucking important, right? And because I'm not an engineer. Okay, so people need to get that, because you don't understand, man. If you were in my position and you got people talking to you, and you go out and you go to a show and everybody wants to talk to you, and then everybody wants to, all these non-engineers want to talk like they know what the hell is going on with building shit. And I'm like, dude, I can't listen to this. You're wasting my time right now. Totally. Like I could be doing something constructive right now, but I'm having a total waste of a conversation because we're talking about brands of transistors and shit like that. So anyways, toughen up, dude. Come on, man up. You know, you're with the boys. We're going to fuck with each other every once and again. I guess he misunderstood clearly. Hey, Mikey, at CapFest, what did people prefer more, the Roland or the Nat audio setup? The Nat. Yeah, see, you can't take it, can you, Scott? You got a soft butt, you know? Toughen up, bitch. Hey, Mikey, at CapFest, what did people prefer more, the Roland or the Nat audio setup? People preferred the Roland because I didn't play the Nat. I'm sorry, they preferred the Nat because I didn't play the Roland. So anyways. Yeah, American prick. You're right. I'm American prick. I am American prick. Now, Scotty, you have got yourself deleted from my ban user. You are banned. Because you're not. You don't understand, Scott. You and I talked on the phone. You should know better. You know, you're like, you know, be stronger, dude. You're being weak right now. You're being fucking weak. You're letting me trying to teach you something turn you into a little jumpy little fucking whatever, little nerve ending, you know? It's like I'm trying to teach you. Just listen to me, man, and understand that my intent is good. I told you, don't get offended. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but you still got your butt hurt, man. You know, relax, dude. You're an adult, you know? Anyways. So we talked about that. Yeah, all I did was played the Nat audio. The Roland was there for backup. So all I did was played Nat, and everybody loved it. So we didn't even play. Did we put the Roland in? We did at one point. We did put it in. The Roland kicked ass. I can't remember why we put it. Oh, we put it in to burn in the speakers. So we put it in. We listened to it for a little bit after the first day, but you know, that was it. That was it. We didn't use it for a demo because the Nats were sounded a lot better. You know, bro, I trust how you deliver better than most hi-fi cats. You're honest. Oakland. See, Oakland, he ain't gonna get offended, man. Oaktown ain't gonna get offended. He's down to earth, right? He's real people. He's fam, right? We all fuck around with each other, and somebody says something stupid, you know, you're gonna and you know, I didn't even say it that way. I didn't even say it was stupid. I just said you're not qualified to talk like that, you know? So anyways, I can't help it if people get hurt. You know, I hang out with New Yorkers, guys like from Oakland. I represent Oakland, dude. I'm not even from Oakland, but I represent it with my hat because I think it's a cool place. Because it's gritty. It's exactly why I like it, because it's gritty and people are real. When you get down to street level, for the most part, aside from derelicts, people are straight and direct. That's why I get along really well with New Yorkers. New Yorkers, you can get pissed at one another and have it out and still be fine at the end of the conversation. Nobody's hanging up on each other. Nobody's getting butthurt. We're just letting it out on each other because we're communicating. And so with my New Yorkers, I kid around with, not like we ever yell at each other, but you can say it straight and they take it in stride. Most of us do. And, you know, I'm just trying to educate you guys, and talking about the damn components is not. Scott is in need of the boy butter. Yeah, sorry, Scotty, man. You know, taking out the trash. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I mean, as somebody lost it a little bit. When people get personal, they should be made to leave. That's what happened. It's like it got all personal, and it's like I even said it beforehand. It's not personal, man. This is like, let me try and describe to you something. All of us in the audio industry, Angela Gilbert Young especially, understands, just like I do, Jeff Rowland does, Ivana Manley, Andreas Koch. We know the people that come in talking about parts, and we know that they don't know what they're talking about. Typically, when they start talking about parts brands, we immediately know they don't know what they're talking about, and it bugs the shit out of us. And I know Angela Gilbert Young, I talked to her on the phone, and we even talked about this. She said she's doing, because she doesn't like She closed Blue Circle Audio. Why did you close a company that was doing so well? I didn't like the people. That was her fucking response. I couldn't deal with the people. And it's like talking about parts names and shit like that. Now, if I mistook Scotty's thing and he was trying to make a joke and I took it wrong, it wasn't aimed at him, but I was talking about just people generally speaking about parts. So, Scotty Potty screwed the pooch. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. Mikey, what exactly is a Nat ceramic tube amplifier? It is not a vacuum tube that is in glass. It is in ceramic, and it has the same parts as a tube, but instead of glass being on the outside envelope, it is a ceramic on the outside envelope. It is made for military use. It's far more hardy and heavy duty than a typical glass envelope tube. So that's what those were. They're made for military. I got 135. See, I burned through an hour and 35. Hey man, we with you 51st state of America, Canada. Yeah, right on, man. I still have to go up there and what not now, man. It's too cold right now. What tube brand do you recommend? Thanks. It depends on which tube. Okay, there is not one tube brand that is good for all tubes. There is the best, 845. There's the best 6922. There's the best EL34. Depends what tube. What tube? What tube are you looking for? And I'll give you a brand. 300B. Okay, so you're looking for 300B. Depends what kind of sound you want. If you want slam, then you want Emission Labs 300B XLS. If you want sweet imaging and just nuance and detail, you want Sophia Royal Princess. I'll just throw those two out because those were the ones when I was buying 300Bs that were good. Now I don't know. There may be new ones. There may be Western Electric. I think Western Electric is making tubes again. I don't know how good those are. I think the what are those? The Takarushi. I'm trying to think of the. They're overrated. It's a Japanese brand. They're just really expensive and overrated. But Emission Labs, generally speaking, I think anything from Emission Labs is killer tubes. Sophia, pretty good stuff, but it's Chinese made, but it's like kind of high end Chinese stuff. What's that other company? KR Audio makes killer tubes. Those are a couple that I can think of. Takatsuki, right, there you go. Those things are overrated. Favorite 5751 that are obtainable. Yeah, that's a good I don't know, man. I like Bugle Boys. Bugle Boy pretty much covers a lot of those types, and I don't know if they're still available or not, but yeah, a lot of these tubes aren't available. You can buy a pair on sale for $1,500, which I think is reasonable for the quality. I haven't heard that the quality is that great. I've heard that they're questionable. But yeah, they've come down a lot. But $1,500, I can get a pair of GM100s for $1,500, like those big tubes that I use in the Nats. Nat Phono Stage, just wondering if the gain is suitable for low MC carts in the range of 0.3 to 0.4. Yes, there's different, as I understand it, the moving coil. He's got different. There's different settings on him. So there is a setting for 0.3 to 0.4 millivolts. It should be on my website. On the 11 stereo, you should be able to see that on my website. So Gold Lion makes decent tubes. Yeah, And it's not Gold Lion. You got to understand that's New Sensor Corporation, and they make Gold Lion, they make Tongue Sol, they make Electroharmonics, they make Svetlana. All that shit's made in the same factory. So the Gold Lions, I think, are just like their picks. They're good picks out of all those. The highest rated ones probably go to the Gold Lion, get stamped Gold Lion. Elrog from Germany. Yeah, they do. That's true. I'm sure the commission is awesome, but what advice would you offer a high dollar customer looking to purchase the 95K Nat Tube amplifier? You could get 2 kick-ass full systems for that price. What advice? I don't it's I'm trying to understand the context of this question, because you say you could get 2 at kick-ass full system. So what I'm getting is you're telling me it's potentially overpriced. First of all, 95K is the retail price from the manufacturer. Um, I'm going to charge somebody 65K. I'm not going to charge 95K. I can't post it like that. I can't publish it like that, but I can say it like that. So I'd give them 30K off. It'd be 65K. So do you want to rephrase your question after knowing that they're 65K? Gold Lion take KT88. Right. That's what Gold Lion's good for, is a KT88. Hey, Mikey, what do you think about Allneck? Good stuff. Made in Korea. Well made. I don't know about the price because I don't know how they're priced. So I don't know if I have a judgment that they're overpriced. But I think it's good stuff. You know, I don't know at what price. I think it's decent. You know, it's not the end of the world type world class level, but I think it's good stuff. Yeah. Hey, on your website, when will you update the complete system section? Yeah, I need to do that. Man, when I got a second, I can do that. Yeah, I'll get to it, man. I mean, I thought we did that already, but I will have to come back in and do it. Bye bye, Scotty. Yeah, yeah. I think, and you know what? I think I remember Scotty. Um, I remember Scotty called me. I'll have to call him and just say, look, dude, don't get butthurt. I think I probably have his number in here because he was the one that introduced me to AGY. I had already talked to her a year ago and asked her about doing a video with me, and we lost touch. And then a year later, Scott came around and said you should do a thing with her, and then he put us in contact. And I looked in my email, and I had the thing from the old email. I was like, oh yeah, we did talk. So Scotty was involved in sort of putting that together. I remember talking to him on the phone. So I feel bad that he was so upset because he was a kind guy on the phone. We talked and everything was cool. And you know what? Sometimes I forget who the people are when I see your moniker. I forget, and I haven't connected the dots yet. And if I had known that Scotty was the guy who I now know he is, I would have gone lighter on him because I know him, right? But I laid into him pretty heavy because I thought he was a stranger, being a trollish dick, right? So I laid into him a little bit when he started giving me a hard time. So I feel bad about it. I'll probably call him. Thank you so much for being an ally of the transgender community. We need allies, especially now. You're a great person, Mikey. Look, Rachel, I see people as people. That's all there is to it. I see humans as humans. We all have hearts. We all have feelings. We all have desires and hopes. We were all children at one point with parents, and we all have crazy and amazing stories. And we all have stories, right? And we all have our lives, and we all want the same thing, which is to be loved and to love and to eat good food and dance and play music and have a good time, So whether you're trans or gay or any race, color, creed, whatever, it doesn't matter to me because I love you. I love people. Um, yeah, I'm a hard ass, but it's usually when you hear me being a hard ass, it's because um, I've got resentment a lot of times from this industry. This industry has jaded me, and it's given me resentment, and it's given me a short fuse on some subject sometime. And you just witnessed that, with Scott. And I could probably learn a little more grace, maybe I'll grow up and get some grace because I kind of fly off the handle sometimes really quick. And I'm hoping to get that because I'd like to have that. But I'm just passionate, and sometimes it's hard to I still get, I guess, passionate. Um, but I love everybody, and I love diversity. Um, the whole hi-fi tribe thing is about unity. Um, Even though we think that the trophy audio buyers are something different, and we think the typical dealers and their rigmarole is separate, and we have our own tribe, our tribe is very much about unity of people that see the same, that don't have these borders between other humans. So the hi-fi tribe movement is something much greater than you guys, than I've even talked to you all about. Um, and the concept is being born. I've got people on a board. We have Monday meetings, and I'm building something that will unify us across the globe, um, to have fun and enjoyment and love and respect one another, and build a great community and a great tribe. So I don't see that, man. I love differences. I like I hate to use the word misfits, but I feel like I don't know if I'm a misfit or something, but I love groups of people that is just totally diverse, and I love to be. So if you see me at the at any of the shows, these audio shows, the groups that I put together when we go out for dinner are just fantastic. They're fabulous groups of people. An artist, a scientist, you know, just all different types, man. It's just like Sesame Street or something. We have such different types, but everybody hugs, and it's great, and we eat and we laugh and we tell jokes, and so anyway, so sorry to go off on that sort of a thing, but um I love the hi-fi tribe. I love all of you a lot. I get frustrated, and sometimes I'm like, I guess it's like a parent scolding a child or something like that. You just get frustrated to a point, and then afterwards I feel bad. But my intent is never to hurt anybody. My intent is never to browbeat or hurt anybody. My intent is to cause people to learn something. And sometimes if it doesn't make a sting, the learning doesn't get planted. In order to plant that seed, there needs to be a little smack, a little, you need to shovel that hole and plant that seed. You need to give it like that, and then it sticks. So that's sometimes my method, is to give it hard and straight, so that people remember it. And unfortunately, some of those times the techniques that I use to make it impress could be construed as vulgar or grotesque or dickish or whatever. But I guess it's my lack of knowing a better way. That's all. So symphonic metal. Oh, what, you got something for us, man? Give us a name. I saw on an Australian channel, Fisher and Fisher offers heavy striation finish or for extra charge. Have I seen it? If so, did you like it? I've not heard about that. Mine come with like white veins sometimes, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about. But the finish already looks very natural. It's beautiful. Oh, Opeth. Okay, Therion and Opeth Rock. I've heard Opeth. I feel like Playback Designs didn't do enough to update their MPD8. Oh yeah, they should have made it 200,000, right? DCS Vivaldi, M Labs DA2, and Lin King Organic. now have this warm, big, dense, and weighty sound with great sound stage. Um, well, what I don't quite get it. Um, the MPD-8 is better than any of those, you know, and so I don't know what you're trying to say. DCS Vivaldi and Lynn King, I demoed for hours. DA2 was based on forum reports, so that was hearsay. Right. Yeah. So anybody that if people are saying they don't like, it's probably dealers that aren't selling it. They're selling Lynn or DCS. I didn't listen. Not only did I listen to DCS Vivaldi stack A, B compared side by side with playback designs. I made a video of it, and the guy who listened bought playback designs immediately when he heard it. He said, "I'm selling the DCS. I'm getting." So that was proof that I did in a video, and you could hear it. He had very sensitive ears to harsh sounds, and he had a very articulate speaker, Alcivox, and so and he chose the MPD-8 over the DCS Vivaldi stack, and it was a fraction of the cost, a third of the cost. I listened just recently to the DCS Varese, which is a $276,000 DAC, the way it sat. So should we even have a discussion about a $276,000 DAC, or should we just blow it off as trophy audio? I tend to blow it off as trophy audio. It's not anything we can take serious. It's $276,000. We can't even bring it into the conversation because it's not a reality for anybody that I know. So Playback Designs is better than either of those brands, in my opinion. They sound more organic and more real. We should all blend together around the notes. You know it. Unusual question. Could the hi-fi shops of the 80s have done something better to withstand the growing home theater market and the internet? They still exist, but are few and far between. Well, they could have started by dropping the arrogant attitude. No, then there's nothing you can do, because the home entertainment system in the 80s was a stereo. It was not home theater. It had nothing to do really with the video. That is just a technological advancement, that evolution that you can't really stop. So it's just like Bed Bath and Beyond. All those stores that are going out of business because of Amazon. You just can't stop certain evolutionary things with society, and I think you can't stop what happened with the home theater market and all that kind of stuff. Eventually hi-fi will probably be reserved for the very wealthy, and there may not even be a middle ground. I don't know what's going to happen to the hi-fi industry, but all I know is that from my end, I don't know who the hell is going to replace Jeff Rowland or Andreas Koch or Jim White, like any of these guys. I can go through my head of all of these brands, and all the dudes that are brilliant that run these brands are in their 70s. They're going to want to retire at some point. They're going to want to spend time with their grandchildren and live a little bit before they die. And I don't know who we're going to be left with. I really have no idea. It's only cheap stuff. The brands that I see that are surviving in the US are cheap brands. And then, so it's, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Trophy audio, great term. Yeah, it seems to make sense. What a beautiful, heartfelt message. Thanks, David. Namaste. Namaskaram. I listen to everything in 2-channel. Yeah, I do too. Even the movies, even the movies. I don't think I need all the boom crash, stuff. It's fun to play movie theater, but I don't know how much I really value it, In fact, I pretty much stopped watching. I have a wicked home theater. Big John was busting my balls today for not hooking it up, because I don't watch movies in there. We have an 80-inch, OLED Sony XBR in the bedroom, and that's where we watch movies. That's where we watch stuff, but it used to be we'd watch it in the home theater, and it was fun and all that stuff. Maybe I should start doing that again. I think I will, and see how it is. Yeah, Dan, good night, buddy. Great live stream. Thanks, man. I am about ready to sign off. It's an hour and 54 minutes. I've got a meeting in the morning. So I am going to cut out. If anybody's got a burning desire, question to ask, go ahead and ask away. This is some good shit, by the way. If you guys want some non-alcoholic beer, this is really tasty. It tastes exactly like a good Belgian, but it's not kind of like an ale. I like Oligarch Audio. There you go. Oligarch Audio is good too. But Oligarch is an oligarch. What about the crypto bros that are spending money like drunken sailors? That's trophy audio. Trophy, anybody can own a trophy. Oligarch is like, a Russian oligarch, right? Certain type of individual. Good night. Good night, Carl. Thoughts on Advanced Paris getting a lot of hype? Never heard of it, but I don't give French stuff, French technology much juice. I have to check it out though. Take care. See you, Dragnet. Peace out, y'all. See you, Alan. Can't believe you don't use those ribbon speakers in your home theater anymore. I do have them in my home theater. You're talking about the BG Radius? I've still got them. I've got big, massive ribbons for my home theater. I'm watching the Fox Nation rebroadcast of the Patriot Awards. I'll have to check it out, man. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. I will see you on Wednesday. Same time, same place. Thanks, everybody, for joining. See you.